Manifesting is pretty easy, but it can be even easier if you're a queer or a gay person. And in this video, I will explain why, while also sharing steps that you can take to start manifesting now. So what is manifestation? Manifestation is an alignment with your desires. Sounds pretty simple, right? But it's not that easy for many people because we all have these like limiting beliefs. We all come from different backgrounds. We all have different experiences. And sometimes those experiences, they sort of dictate how we navigate our lives, what we allow ourselves to believe is true, and like what can happen to us. Like, for example, people, where we're coming from, people from our family, neighborhood, country, city, they never had something that we desire of, and we might think that probably we will also not have it. And what I like about manifesting is that when you really get into it, it actually sort of forces you to work through these limiting beliefs and finally start believing that you can actually be the first one to have it. Like, you can be an exception. I think in that sense, queer people have this very strong advantage in comparison with straight people, because we are, by just our existence, are considered to be something impossible, different, so unusual. For example, where I'm from, Kazakhstan, many people used to believe, and I think that they still think, that there are no gay people among Kazakhs. Like, Kazakh people never had gay people, which is like obviously not true. Like, for example, I am gay and there are a lot of many other gay people among Kazakhs. And it's not like we chose to be gay, we were born this way. But I can think that we can use this homophobia sort of mindset to our advantage, because like, since we are so unusual, like we are something that was impossible to happen, but we still happened, right? We can actually take this mindset and start applying it to our desires and our goals. Maybe guzzle hide ourselves, or just like, develop this mindset that, okay, I am something that was so unexpected, and that's something that people were not used to. But like, here I am, I exist, I know that I exist. Why can't I start thinking that, for example, something that I desire of, like people from my family, from my background, they never had it, but like I can be the first. And I think also what's super great about queer people is that just because like, we grew up in these very like conservative, homophobic, sometimes very religious sort of spaces, like we felt lonely most of the time. We felt like we can only rely on ourselves. Many issues that we were facing, we had to face on our own because like we couldn't ask for support, for help. When you live in this kind of environment, you sort of develop this flexibility as well. And maybe it was developed from not very good conditions, but still, like when we grow up, we can actually find strength in it, because there are so many perks to being flexible. And I think that we can also apply that flexibility into our mindset, into the way that we're thinking. Also, another argument is that queer people are usually stereotypically more creative. Queer people are always the pioneers in all the creative industries. Queer people come up with all the trends in like fashion, in like music, like sound production. And I think that this creativity is also something that can help us with our manifestations. So yeah, like we grew up in the spaces that sort of made us shrink, that made us hide, and it actually affected all parts of our lives, right? Like, I think that for some queer people, it also meant that they learned sort of like living with these like limited resources and like all the other limitations in their head, like thinking that just because they're queer, they can get to the places where like straight people easily can get to. But I think that actually our flexibility and creativity can help us break through. And like, since we are like such unicorns in this world, in this modern world, it can actually be our biggest advantage. While I think for straight people, it's usually everything is sort of predicted. They are actually the ones who have like limited options, in the way that they were raised and like they were not hated for who they are, but like, they had a lot of these like scenarios that were like already predicted for them, and they're just like living those scenarios. And I think that for us, for queer people, what's amazing about our experience is that we get to choose. And I think that we can also use the strategy like with manifestations with our desires and goals, in the sense that we can just choose whatever we want to choose. And this is why we can do whatever, like any desire that we think is crazy, like we can actually lean into it and make it happen. So like, what steps you can take now to start manifesting? So first of all, I think it's like identifying your craziest desires. Like, just imagine that somebody comes to you and says like, here are all the money in the world, like you have all the resources, like there are no limits, you can do whatever you want to do. Like, what would you do? Like, for example, if making money, earning money, I don't know, like hustling, like you didn't have to do all of that, you could just like do whatever you want to do, what would it be? And I think that in that sense, manifesting is a great exercise that you can just sit down, like pause, and you can like sort of like listen to yourself, like be like, okay, like I've been doing all of these things that I thought I was supposed to do, but now I can try something, just like whatever I want to do, like what would it be? So as soon as you identify your desires and goals, like you can write them down. Like, for example, I write them down in my notebook sometimes. I write them down in the notes app on my phone. And you can write it down in whatever way you want to write it down, in the sense that it can be, like the way that as if you already have it, like something like, money flows easily into my life. I'm such a money magnet. I attract so much abundance in my life. I have all of these different sources of income. Or it can be like, I want to sentences. For example, I want to move to like, and whatever destination that you want to move to. Or like, I want to go to an amazing date with my boyfriend. Or like, I want to go to an amazing trip with my friends. But you need to also specify what kind of trip, where, or like you can write it whatever way you want to write it, because like I truly believe that what we believe is true will be true. So whatever way you write down your desires, like manifestations, if you believe that this is the way they will come true, then this is the way they will come true. So you wrote them down, and like now you need to start like practicing this mindset that like you allow yourself to like let it happen. If at this stage you feel that, like strong resistance, like something inside of your brain is like totally rejecting that idea, like no, it's not going to happen, you need to just accept that part of your brain or that part of your identity, acknowledge it, and like accept it, sort of like talk to it, like talk to that part of yourself, something like, okay, I see you, I understand you, I understand why you have this mindset, why you think that it's impossible, but and you can give that part of yourself some like examples, like, I don't know, try to look for the examples of people like you, probably, for example, like I'm Asian, right? Like, so I might look for like some Asian queer people that were able to reach whatever I want to reach, and like I can sort of tell that part of me, like about those people, the examples of those people, like, okay, they made it, so I can make it too. Being ashamed of or like rejecting that parts of ourselves that are like so doubtful, like it's counterproductive. Like, you actually need to lean into it, and you like need to sort of face that shadow part of yourself, like, talk to it, accept it, and actually, like, this is the paradox, like the second you fully accept it, it's sort of like that part of yourself, sort of, it's like it can feel like it's heard, and it calms down and it steps back. And like other parts of yourself that are like so delulu, that believe into those manifestations, they step front and they take the lead, like they take you to the direction that actually makes your manifestations come true. So in my opinion, the fastest way to align with your desires is like having no resistance to them. I notice it all the time with myself, like especially, for example, with trips. People always ask me like, how do you travel so often? And I think that it's just because I don't have any resistance to trips, to traveling. It's like I just sort of programmed my brain to think that this is so normal. I love traveling so much. I think that our goal with our manifestations is always to sort of get rid of this resistance, but like not like by resisting it, but actually by acknowledging it, looking into it, by making sure that that resisting part of us is heard. If you're like hesitating with starting something new or like starting your blog, you can book a call with me. Or if you just like my content and you can support me on a way to become a full-time content creator, you can do it. All the links and details in the description. Hopefully I will make more videos about manifestations in the future. I shared just the basics with you. If you guys want more content from me, follow me on Instagram and like subscribe to my channel. Give this video a thumbs up. Let me know in the comments what methods do you use to manifest, or just share your like successful stories. Like, I'm super curious to know. So here's some more of my content that you can check out, and hopefully I will see you in my next videos. Bye.